Give me a D and a G. It's the Dawg and Gus Show. It's the Dawg and Gus Show.
Hey, Dawg, your beard's looking flickin' great, my man.
Thanks, Gus. I've been using the Bush Beard Wash.
The what now?
At Bush Beard, they know that every man with a beard is a unique beardo. And that's why they offer a wide range of products to cater to every beard's needs. Whether you have a long and luscious mane or prefer to keep it short and sharp, their products will help you achieve that perfect look.
From the nourishing beard oil and balm to the refreshing beard wash, their products are made with all-natural local ingredients to keep that beard healthy, soft, and lustrous. The beard comb and brush are designed to detangle and shape your beard, making sure you always look your best.
At Bush Beard, they're dedicated to providing the best possible grooming experience for all the beardos out there. So why settle for an average beard when you can have a glorious, well-groomed one? Try Bush Beard products today and unleash the full potential of your beard.
Be sure to use Dawg and Gus 10 and get 10% off your order.
Bush Beard, the small-town brand with the big old Canadian heart. Welcome to the Dawg and Gus Show.
What happened there?
Nothing.
You were
Stroke.
kinda yeah, you had a moment.
I did.
What do we got going on today, bud?
Nothing.
No, what do you mean nothing?
Oh, sorry. We have Soul Dive here.
Soul Dive.
Soul
What's up, Soul
Dive.
Dive? What's going on?
Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. Pleasure to make your acquaintance again, which we've already made acquaintances before, right?
Sure.
We figured it all out.
Yeah, we did. It took us a while, but we figured out all the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
The 7 degrees of Alguire Leclerc.
Alguire Leclerc.
Yeah.
Only in alphabetical order.
That's right. So before, like, obviously, so nice to meet you, but also, what can you tell us about the wagon that you picked up that you took across Canada and did a tour in, and then
Just the way. Where it all started.
yeah,
We're in Europe and we met this person. She had a van and Ken and I looked at each other. We were like,
We were
We're gonna do
18,
this.
had never traveled, just finally got out there. We're like, okay, when we get home, that's the next thing we're starting. And
first thing we ever saw on Facebook Marketplace, we went with Trevor.
1996 Toyota Dolphin.
And
Pretty.
bought it for $12,000 and a 24-pack of Busch Light. And we worked on it all summer and then drove off. And then that's when we met Kevin. It was in San Diego, 7 or maybe like.
We made it all the way there, impressively, with some bumps
Yeah.
in the road, but all the way out to Vancouver, Vancouver Island. We lived there for a little bit, met some people, and then it started to get cold, so we went on the coast and spent the winter, in San Diego with now our family. I mean, yeah, we've got so much family and friends down there now.
that's so cool. That's an amazing story because it's like it's kind of a very rock and roll story, really.
I know, a van in San
It
Diego.
was
Is it
only
not?
before
I don't
there
know,
wasn't
man.
a lot of
I feel like
rocking
it's
and roll.
a
Had
rock
nothing.
and roll story from 60 years ago,
Yeah,
but you did it like now, which is great.
Yeah.
Keeping it alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kevin, you're from San Diego?
Yeah, you could. My name is Kevin, but I go by Keone. I prefer in the band. So,
Keone, it is.
yeah, I'm actually not from San Diego. I've been living there for about 7-8 years. I moved out there for work, and I'm from New York originally. I was born in Queens, so
Cool.
I've been living in my van for the last 4 years. San Diego has been my winter spot since it's the only place that's nice enough to go to the beach in the winter, and that's where I met these lovely girls, and we started playing music, and yeah,
How cool
Haven't
is that?
stopped.
haven't stopped.
That's very cool.
And you snuck Keone across the border. Is that what happened?
Something
No,
like that.
His van
Yeah.
just brought him over. He ended up here.
Huh?
Yeah, I made the 3,000-mile trek across to spend the summer.
You gotta
playing
do
some
it once.
music, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, summer's the right time to come. That's for sure. If you're chilling in San Diego and it's 27 and sunny every day.
Not bad.
What's your first experience with music?
For me, I have sang since I was a kid. My parents would always joke that like I could sing before I could talk. I would stand on the tables and like sing at the top of my lungs, and so then I only stopped singing as I like got older and you get insecure about things. But then, yeah. So my dad being a musician, like I was born and my parents said like I was crying the minute I was born, and my dad started singing and I stopped. And so like it's just kind of in my life, and so only really got back into it more like full on when we were in the camper. That's when I wrote my first song that I say wrote by myself and really liked. And so then ever since then, we met Kev, and it's all we do now.
Nice. What about
Same
the other?
with me, musical dad. That definitely starts you off. Records and learning how to start a record player when I was young and turn the cassettes on. And I started playing fiddle when I was 6 years old. I think that was my first instrument. And then I just got very excited and continued picking up instruments. And now I'm playing bass and banjo. Last year I was playing guitar. Before that was piano. But just anything that can make a beautiful sound. And yeah.
You're down with that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to work your way up to the triangle?
Okay, that's actually hilarious because when my parents asked me what instrument I wanted to play when I was 6 years old, I was not interested. And I said, can I please just play a triangle, please? And they're like, there's no such thing as triangle lessons. So that's hilarious.
What?
I should. No, exactly. Yeah. That
There
was
should be.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you would think.
Put it right there with the kazoo.
Well,
Put
you
them up
could-
there
you-
together.
well, you-
Oh,
We give
I love a
Ooh.
kazoo.
Any new instrument we give to Kennedy.
That's
so.
very
That's true.
Just like she didn't play bass until less than a year ago.
Yeah, less than a year ago,
it's
and
been
I'm the bassist.
That's
like,
awesome.
"Bass, you got this.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you have that talent where you can just pick it up. So that's good.
It's every instrument they don't want to play. Okay, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
What about you, Kev? Kev, what about you?
Keone.
Keoe.
I actually I played guitar in high school, just kind of thinking it was cool. I don't come from a musical family. My dad loves karaoke, but he's not great. So I did grow up on their music. They're from El Salvador, and so they listen to a lot of like oldies from their country. My dad loves classic rock. He's a big Bee Gees fan, big Eagles fan, and so I in high school was discovering that music more and just absolutely loved it. And so I started teaching myself guitar. When you're juggling school and that stuff, and I was headed for college, university. I just it kind of fell by the wayside. It became like a little hobby that I would play here and there, and then I kind of fell off for some years. Not until I found myself in the van traveling around, and I bought one, put it on my bed inside my van. Every time I had to get into my bed, I had to move it aside so I could lay or put it down somewhere. So it became this. It just constantly picking it up, playing it for a little bit. So I really picked it back up, right around the time, maybe a few months before I met them. And so that was really fun because I had never seen it as such a potential thing, to really lean into the love, and they wanted to hear me play. We wanted to play together. And so it just became such a passion of mine that just reignited by meeting them. And yeah, so I've been playing, I would say on and off for probably like 3 or 4 years. But again, really just, I think I'm at a point where I'm definitely excited to learn more about the theory and really lean into the electric guitar more.
This is laying on my bed right now.
Yeah, but definitely I don't have the musical talent in the family like they do. So
It doesn't seem. That's not true. I don't think so.
I'm starting it for my.
Yeah. You're the first generation. Yeah.
There you go.
Queens has a lot of great artists, by the way. I was a big fan of LL Cool J back in the day. He's from Queens.
Yeah, because there's so much similar. These Soul Dive and LL Cool J. A lot of similarities I'm seeing in the music.
We get
Soul-
those comparisons.
You
pretty
never know
often.
what we'll throw out there.
Right. Soul comes from all music, does it not?
Yes.
Like I think hip hop
Oh,
comes from
goodness.
soul, and soul comes from hip hop. No.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever you want to say.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Oh my goodness, what am I saying? Oh, I want to talk about you guys being excited about unboxing your stuff from Garden Bell.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Let's.
One of the things, actually.
Nice.
We got a message from Garden Bell on Instagram, and sometimes I'm the one that usually manages our Instagram, and I see those things, and I'm always very suspicious. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you're on to something. I don't want to fall for this. And I looked into Garden Bell, and they're also nomads that have traveled to a lot of nomadic van festivals that we've been to, like Schoolie Palooza, and Northwest Nomads is one on our list. And they said they've been listening to our music, and their 2-year-old loves our music. And
At their 2-year-old's birthday party.
yeah, and they were like, we missed you at Schoolie this year, but we would love to see you next time. So real people, really sweet people, and their vibe was like spot on with our vibe. Very funky bell tops and cool pants and patchwork stuff. Yeah, and they just sent us a gift. Big gift, no strings attached. Just love.
That we know of.
That we know of. Yeah.
Yeah. So far.
You'll be playing the third birthday party.
Yeah, maybe.
There we
Oh,
go.
by the way,
yeah.
remember that box of stuff we sent you?
Yeah. Oh, there was fine print.
The next box will be bigger.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Nice.
We'd be there for them. We would.
Yeah, I would suspect so.
Nice.
Maybe if you're not busy. What about the women's retreat? Can you tell us a bit about that experience?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was actually a little bit last minute. We met a bunch of people. Well, we started.
Yeah.
When we're traveling, we tend to make more the friends that we connect to. But then we got home this summer and we were kind of determined to create a bit of the life we have when we're traveling, but back at home. And so we had a market, mainly Ken, but we'd set up a market in the lot at 692, the Sunday market. We'd set it up and just started acting how we would if we were out in the world in San Diego. And so then we started meeting all these people who would be going to events that we didn't even know were around here. And so then a few different people told us about it. And
Yeah, it just drew the crowd that we were drawn to the right crowd, and they were drew to our little stand, and they told us about Wild Women Rising.
Invited us to come play. They didn't have any. Yes, they wanted us to come play. We did like a trade, so we went and played music and got to go to this beautiful festival.
Oh my gosh, there was a spring-fed lake and just forest and beautiful grounds, and we were just tucked into this little forest cove and set our tent up, and we're just with a bunch of women, no phones, just dancing and screaming and running around and swimming. Just very wild. It was great.
we got to play a few different music sets too, which was nice. It was spread out throughout the weekend, and so some of them were more like an acoustic throughout the market there. We would play music, and then at night we played more of a set leading into the DJ set, and then in the morning it was more of like a meditative sound bath, slow harmonic kind of set. And so it was really beautiful to explore the different like ways of music that we can play.
And we don't do us two very often. We played Porch Fest together this summer, but it's fun to find our sound together because it's definitely different than what we do as a band. But yeah, it was so good.
That's fun. Yeah. Did you know all about this?
Nope.
When you were doing the kind of the market here in Manotick, what were you driving the blue truck? Because I kept seeing it.
I drove it the first week because I was like, that's fun, and I needed a truck bed to bring. We got better at packing, but
we were not good at the beginning.
Kind of this massive thing that a clothing rack.
I sell vintage clothes, and then I make jewelry, and I sell like little trinkets and antiques and stuff. And I didn't know how to pack, so I was just like, Grace, I'm hauling all this into the truck beds. I fit it into my car now. It all fits in my car. All of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just definitely brought that. But then we started bringing Kev's van, which was fun because we'd open it up so the back of our stand would go into Kev's tiny home, which looked awesome.
That's cool.
So that was cool.
Yeah, the reason I ask is that's the truck I saw Trevor broken down in. So I didn't want to make it one of it, you know.
There's a few people who have stories of finding Trevor on the side of the road the day his phone happens to die and his truck breaks down and he's in a cornfield and someone calls us, I think your dad's on the side of the road on the first line.
There's a 6'7" dude looking at an old car that's pretty much broken down on the side of the road. Yeah.
Listen, man, there's a few stories about your dad. Like I have friends who know your dad, Trevor, and it's like they tell me this story, and I was like, because he's playing at the Redbird, right?
Yeah, on the 27th.
On the 27th, and I've got friends that I know from other things, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go see Trevor. I'm like, really? You're gonna go see Trevor? I'll go. And he's like, one buddy's telling me the story of how he met him at Blues Fest.
Yeah.
And another friend is like, well, I think she said they were related, like a cousin or a second cousin or whatever. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, how small is this this community we got, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like James too. He's been on our show twice.
Yeah.
He seems to have really amped up his career a little bit, eh?
Oh,
because he took a break, right?
Yeah.
He took a 10-year break.
Mm-hmm.
For you.
He's making up.
No, not for you. Oh,
absolutely not. No good reasons. But now he's full force. I'm so excited for him. You can just see, like, he's so lit up by it. I think that he just do this for the rest of his life. And he's putting out all these songs that are like 10 years old and all these new ones. So there's a lot ahead.
Yeah, he's a prolific writer.
Yeah.
He likes to write. Are you the same?
No. I'm getting back into, actually, I just wrote a song 15 minutes ago, but I've taken a break. I was really judgmental. I was a kid and I would write songs every single day, like every day, just little rhymes. And because there was no self-judgment, I just thought, I'm so good at writing music, I'm going to keep writing songs. And then I feel like I got into high school and that self-doubt and the judgment of like, writing songs, or they weren't good enough, and now I'm just trying to write them. Sometimes they're for just me. They're just to go in my journal. I play them once, and that was the point of that song. And sometimes it's for someone else to share. But I'm getting back on that track.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
It's too bad that happens, right? Like when you're young and curious, and you can have no, like, you know, you have all the support from your parents, and you're not like, and then all of a sudden you sort of start, something inches in there to stop you. But if I could give anybody advice, just keep being a kid, keep being curious. You know?
Well, yeah, but it's hard. It's hard when you get to that high school level, right? You got all these kids going, "That's really stupid what you wrote." It's like his kids can be so mean,
right?
True.
Yeah.
you know, and you're like,
We don't care anymore. We support
exactly.
each other.
But
that was
at
a
that,
great song.
yeah, but at that time in your life, you do, right? Like it's hard. It's hard to say at 14, I don't care what you think. When it's like you think it's one of your best friends, and they're criticizing what you love, and they're crushing your soul, and you're like,
fuck you, man.
Yeah, at 14, I don't think you have that self-awareness.
I wish I could
now
tell.
You do.
Yeah. I have young daughters. That's why I was like, okay, well, I hope they just never lose this curiosity, because they love running around barefoot in my backyard. So it's perfect.
As long as they, you know, if they lose it for a little bit, as long as they find it again.
Yeah.
They'll come back. They will. They will.
Come back to
we
it.
were best friends as babies and spent a lot of time as best friends as little kids, and then went to separate high schools and found each other working at the same place, not purposely. And I think together we just found that like little childhood self again.
That's great.
Excellent.
Love that.
We've gotten younger by the days. I feel like we're going right back to being
That's
5.
good.
All right, so no more driving dad's truck then if you're 5 years old.
Okay. How do you guys deal with creative blocks or performance anxiety?
I feel like, well, for creative blocks, I think we're all pretty good at getting each other back into that groove. I think we know how it feels when all three of us are together, feeling really like creative and allowing that to flow and playing music. And so we'll all have moments where maybe we're less in the zone because of whatever reason, but just getting out into nature, I'd say, is the main thing. We'll be like, well, let's go sit under a tree, or whether we do that for ourselves or for each other or as a group. I think we're all pretty good at just getting back outside and like minimizing the distractions, and that's when all of it flows. Like we all know we have that inside of us. It's more of the like outside factors.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We have a lot of good chats, good communication. Like if one person's feeling that way, they're usually able to share that, and then we can try and help them, you know? And we do lots of ohms.
Yeah.
Good ohms.
Good ohms.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's nice that you have each other to bounce things off of without judgment, right? Like I think that there's challenges that come with that if you don't feel comfortable stating what is going on, and then if you are, then it goes away faster.
Are you looking at me right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thought that you could carry on from that.
Oh, I'm going to.
Like it's a segue. You know?
Oh, thank you for this.
I thought there was.
This is my first show. Sorry.
Like music, right? Everything has timing and tempo.
But then you can screw with that too, because it's fun.
Yeah, that's
right.
it. Yeah.
Keone, I want to know where the name came from.
So funny story. 2 years ago, around this time, I was following the fall foliage in my van down from Maine all the way down to Tennessee. And on my journey, I stopped at a bar in Virginia one night and just popped in to see like, hey, what's this town? It's a very small town in Roanoke, Virginia. And I saw a bar, and it was like the only thing open at the time. And so I went in, and it was closing soon, but the bartender that was there, we just started chatting, and they asked me, we exchanged names after a little bit, and they were just kind of surprised when I said, hey, my name is Kevin. And they were just like, oh, and in the nicest way. I mean, then again, I'm down in Virginia, but I knew they were coming from a nice place, that they just said that they thought I would have had a more exotic name. And so I was like, oh yeah, well, what would you think my name would be? And so they said Keone, and so I was just like, oh, that's interesting. So then some time passed, and it was kind of when I met you guys too. We had a couple other friends that we were all hanging out at the beach in their camper one night, just playing cards and
oh my god, yeah,
just hanging out. And I proposed the question of like to everybody, that do they have any alter egos, or if you hadn't ever had a name that you wish you were called. And so people just started answering, and that was kind of, for me, it was that name that this woman gave me. And so I was like, oh, I would like to try that out. And it's kind of stuck in a lot of places. I think the close people still call me Kev.
I'm used to it.
You're Kev and Keone, but there's never a Kevin.
But yeah,
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 you did come up. You did snap back when I said that. By the way, you're like, no, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm
she
kidding.
had said it, so that's
Yeah.
Yeah. No worries.
No,
I'm
but I
just
mean,
teasing.
it's not one of those situations that I don't like. I love my name, but yeah, this has been kind of where I've, people. I mean, there's Prince, there's Slash, there's shit, all these different things. So I'm like Keone. It seems to fit. So
I feel it fits. I feel it fits your guys' vibe. I really do.
Perfect.
It so fits.
It's
Oh my
definitely
god.
a soul dive kind of name.
Yeah,
Cool.
it definitely fits for sure.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
have the blessing. Yes.
That's right.
You've got ours, so now it's
Dawg
real.
and Gus, check.
It's
I
real
mean-
now.
I mean,
Bucket list done.
Prince is a pretty good one.
I like that one too, but I can't be called Prince.
No, there's only one.
That's the one.
He's behind us in the purple behind us.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Purple rain.
Purple
He-
Rain.
yeah, exactly.
go.
He is our inspiration. Sing along, keep singing. That was awesome.
We love Prince here.
We're big fans.
Show. Yeah. So, would you say how does where you live affect your career? Would you say that that's something that challenges you, or the fact that you can just get into a 85 Dolphin and cruise?
Well, we sold our 85 Dolphin.
No.
Which
I was supposed to go to university, and I was like, I think the ceiling was getting a little slanted, and she had broken down more than once, and we just thought it might be a good idea to sell it while she was
we came
still...
home with no money is the answer to that question. And we said we need money, and so we sold it. But I mean, none of us really have I call home here home, and so it's wonderful to be able to hang out with my parents, and we live on the river. I love cars where I grew up. But
We're
also,
not here
home
that-
is San Diego. Home is in Kevin's van. Home is so many different places. So I think it's cool, and that's where a lot of our music comes from, is calling home all these different places and the different feeling of that. But this is where Ken and I grew up, and it's been cool having Kevin in this part of our home. And so...
And the connections, our dad's being here is great when we're home, just for small little gigs and to talk to more musicians around here. But being so nomadic for us all of us the last few years, it just feels more natural to be like, oh, do you want to just go to the West Coast next year and try and tour? And it feels easier to get up and go because we're already used to that. I don't know. Just trying out new places and spreading our music. Some people know our music down in San Diego, so if someday that works out that we can tour there, we have a little bit of a family in New York and through, Arizona and stuff. So I think there's hard things with that too, but
Yeah.
a lot of it's good.
Someday when that happens.
Exactly. Go back to that
Not
bar.
not if.
Yeah,
When.
not if, never if,
When that
always
happens.
when.
Yeah, it is a when.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Go back to that bar in Roanoke.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Keone's here.
Yeah,
Woo!
Remember me? I know. We don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere.
I
No,
knew it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I've traveled. This is my first time coming up to Canada, first time going internationally with my van. I travel a lot for work previously to kind of committing to music this year. But yeah, traveling the States, I've been back and forth across the country, up and down 7-8 times. And so there's a lot of places that I'm familiar with and the places on the West Coast that we've been together. But then this summer was really cool to come to where they're from and where they grew up and to see the music scene in Ottawa, to feel the support and the interest that seems to be growing, and just to have that kind of home base. I mean, all the 4 songs that we have released and some of the ones that are coming have been recorded down here in James LeClaire's basement. So,
Yup, thanks,
so I
Dan.
mean, and Trevor's got a jam studio. He created one when Grace got home, bought an old. He probably found a Facebook Marketplace drum set. An old
He was
bass.
probably late to something because he was picking this
Yeah.
up.
So to have that love and support from where they are has really kind of shaped at least these last few months and kind of what we've been able to do together when we've been together. Because meeting as nomads, that wasn't something, even in the year and a half that we've known each other, I think we haven't even been together a full year, possibly,
No.
in total. So it's we're hoping that there's less of that in the future, but I think these roots have definitely shaped our band recently, so it's been great.
I'm wondering when you're going to bolt, because
Oh,
the
it's
the
already
summer.
planned.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, because winter will be coming soon.
Well, he grew up in New
Not
York.
for
It's
us,
not
not
like
for
I know,
No
but
way.
New York is not as cold as here.
Oh, we're going much more south than that.
Much
Yeah,
more.
exactly. But
Take
what
a
I'm
guess. Take a guess.
San
we're gonna,
Diego.
you know what? We're gonna
More
probably do.
south.
More south than
What?
San Diego?
Wait,
Mexico?
There's a lot more south than San Diego.
There's a
South
lot.
America?
Colombia?
North than that.
Northern
northern.
Columbia.
Oh man, now you got to test our geography knowledge.
Can we move on from this game? Like,
We can move on.
We're flying to El
I'll give
Salvador.
yeah.
oh shit, we should have said that because of that's where
Oh,
he's from.
because of his family. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
God.
If we were just paying
We
attention,
gave you hints.
just paying
Well,
attention.
If we
it's just the
just-
first stop of a few, so we're trying.
First up of 5.
Yeah, 5
Nice.
or so.
That's
We're gonna
good.
spend
Do you have family there?
My parents have a property there that they recently bought, and I have some like extended family. But I
Cool.
was just there with my whole family. We went for my mom's 60th birthday and went as a family. But it's mostly for them. It's a nice place to be. It's beautiful country. We'll get to be together and play music together, and yeah, just be warm.
Yeah, we're really prioritizing
Be
writing
warm.
music and just Grace and I have been really busy this summer. Whenever we come home, we work as much as we can, and music and having our little farmers market business happening. We really want to dedicate wake up, music, more music, and just we know the creative flow will just continue and see where that leads us. But
Good.
intentional time together too, just bonding and planning what we want for the next couple of years together.
Wonder if that'll change kind of the vibe of the type of music you play, because you'll be listening to some more
I hope
Latin-
so.
Latino-
I think it'll be probably leaning more
Latin
into
music.
the.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be going to Carnival in El Salvador, so the music there will be awesome. So
It's true.
Yeah.
Quite the experience for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to sense there'll be a little bit more of a Latino flavor, a Latin
Oh,
flavor
yeah.
to their music.
I think just Latino, Latina,
Yes,
Latin.
Yeah, we just played Taste of Manitic on Saturday over here, and that we
Nice.
definitely got some feedback right after that this song, a song that I wrote, and it's in Spanish. Grace and Kennedy harmonize in it, which is pretty cool, and sing. So they liked it. So yeah, there will be more of.
Manitic probably
Definitely more
doesn't get
Spanish,
a lot of that.
Latin influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, Ottawa would probably have a pretty
No,
big.
Manitic does actually.
Yeah, has a big community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, color me
I find,
unknown.
I find that actually with
Yeah.
being around here.
Very cool.
Well,
I learned something today.
I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of vanilla.
Yeah,
But there's a lot,
maybe
but there's a little bit
Yep.
of cinnamon.
just a
Maybe
little bit.
Grace would see that at the coffee shop.
You sure would. Put it in
Probably
your
thought
coffee.
that I was the vanilla type.
You are vanilla.
No.
Ice.
This is like my alter ego, man. This is the real me. Do listeners take away different things from your songs than you intended? Do you find?
probably on like the smaller scale, there's little things that people take away, or it adds to a moment in their life that we wouldn't have anticipated. But I think the overall feel is just the same of like journey and like discovery and being open to the world around you and love. But also I think that we are very open to our music being whatever it might be. You know, sometimes I listen to my music and feel a certain way, and then we listen to it together, or we like from when I wrote some of our songs before I ever played it with them, or it's just so many different ebbs and flows of every song, or when you
And
listen
it
to it.
constantly relates. Like it will relate when she writes a song. The first song that she wrote, "All That Is," she played for me in Revelstoke, and where we were, I was like, "Oh, this connects to this moment." And every time we listen to it, I could feel like I can just re-relate it to where I am again. Like it's just constantly a present
Evolving.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why so many people can relate to any of our songs, because there's that easy to connect with, but your meaning, as you said, the meaning is very personal. So it's like the themes, you know, we all feel these things, but then what it means to that particular person, like Soul Dive, for example, let's just take our name song. It invites you to take this soul dive, and really what that entails. When Grace wrote it, she bounced it off of us for like what the feeling is. It's looking inside and taking that soul dive, whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like to you, whatever journey it is. But it's something that everyone can feel, can do, and can relate to in their lives. So it just feels good to be able to do that and share it.
Yeah, it's a hard question to answer, right? Because everybody's different. Like we could all listen to the same song. All five of us listen to the same song and come away with something different, right? Because our personal experiences are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we could all say, like, well, I kind of feel this, and Gus will go, well, I kind of got this from it. You know what I mean? So that's what's so great about the music, right?
Music's the best.
Yeah, it sure
It's
is.
art.
It is the
Music
best.
is the only universal language. And
Exactly.
it's
That's what I call it. I say that all the time.
He
It's
does.
universal. It's like a beautiful thing. Any language, if it has a good feel, good groove, good soul.
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome. You look at fucking die.
I mean, I'll even listen. Some of my songs I'll listen to when I write them and think, "Oh wow, like that makes me feel so positive and so much love." And then I'll listen to it a year later and be like, "God damn, this is like what I needed to hear right now." And it's not an easy thing to hear, and it teaches me something a year later. And so it's like, you never know what you're gonna get out of a song. And so I hope that it can be that for everyone.
Yeah,
totally.
All right. I got a question. I love asking this one. This one's fun. If you could go back in time to witness any musical event, what would it be? And I want an answer from each one of you. I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm not sure.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
You guys have one?
Okay. You go first if you have one.
Can I say two? Because one is
Yes,
kind
you
of
can.
specific. Okay. Woodstock is just one of those, like, it would be so fun to have been there. I love festivals and just something that you hear so much about. It would have been cool.
Yeah.
But I think probably hearing, like, Bob Dylan at the very beginning when he was playing a lot of folk, that was before he started writing music even, and hearing what he was finding to create what we know as Bob Dylan. My dad put me on Bob Dylan very young.
We know.
But yeah, you know.
We saw the picture. So Lynette
songwriting, the lyrics,
Lynette did that skateboard. That's why we got that from your dad. Like your dad got us onto her, and then anyways, go on. Sorry, sorry about that. Sorry, Ken.
It's okay.
Yeah, we were waiting for the Bob Dylan reference for sure.
Bob Dylan
for sure.
Yeah. No, my guess was Woodstock.
No, my guess was Woodstock as well.
Because
the very basic.
So my mom was there, and left like a day early. Like she just sort of like was there. But I have to go back to Ottawa, whatever. Like she was there, man.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
She saw Hendrix and like it was crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. Like just saw the opening, like Star Spangled Banner and all that. I was like, "You're crazy," and she's like, "Oh, I skipped school and saw Elvis too." I'm like, "What the fuck, Mom? Like, you didn't tell me this stuff."
I hope I was there in another soul back
then.
You
were.
You know,
definitely.
Yeah, that was definitely our era.
Yeah.
All right, Grace. Or
I would have loved to see Queen play at like the Live Aid.
Live Aid, yeah.
Yeah, that I remember the first time I watched the video of that and how I felt, and I was like, that would be incredible. Just like this movie. I mean, a lot of people say that that's like the biggest or most famous concert ever, famous show or like performance, and so
it was one of the biggest ever. Live Aid, yeah.
Yeah. And so I would love to have seen that. But also, one of my biggest regrets is not going to see Tom Petty.
No,
when
mine
he was
too.
still alive.
Fuck.
My parents went to Blues Fest and invited me, and I didn't go. And I've loved him my whole life. And then he died later that fall. And I think about that a lot. And
so do I. I missed that show too. And I was like, I'll see him next time.
Where were we?
I don't know, man.
Just to make you feel worse, I was there.
Yeah.
I didn't need to hear that.
And I'm a huge Tom Petty fan too.
And see Tom Petty back in the day.
Right.
Or that show when I was, I don't know how old I was, but in my teens. Should have went. But anyways, so Tom Petty sometime, somewhere.
There you go. Yoni?
I would also join Kennedy in the summer, in that summer, but I would split time because I think there was time there and go down to Manhattan in New York and the Harlem Festival that was going on, the music festival, the Summer of Soul. There was just a lot. I mean, Hendrix actually played at after he did everything at Woodstock, he went down and did a couple shows, late night things at like a jazz club somewhere in Harlem. But yeah, I think the split between those two, just getting to see all the rock and roll that I love, all that classic rock from that era, and then also just not only for the significance of what was going on in New York at that time, but just all of that soul flair and hearing the soul voices. When I first heard Grace sing, that was something that she reminded me of, was like she has this depth and this voice it's coming from another place that I don't often see, to be honest, like see from someone like but in the best way. Like it's like you sounded like just one of the singers from that era, like a jazz, like deep soul singing. So like seeing somebody play in a park that I've been in New York and around Central Park would just be really cool.
For sure.
I find I asked this question to you guys, but I keep changing my answer. Like,
Yeah,
for
this
me-
whole time I've been doing the same.
What's
Yeah.
your answer?
Well, because I Woodstock would have been amazing. But now I'm thinking like the Beatles when they did
Yeah, I thought
when they
about
did that
too.
rooftop, like their last concert, like their last,
Right.
you know what I
Oh
mean?
my god, that would have been.
That would have been a huge one.
For me, it's
Mhm.
it's Zeppelin at the O2 Dome.
Yeah. Well, there's or there's Zeppelin or Elvis or
I
like
know.
Single
Oh my gosh.
performer for me would have been Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Or or get to see the Beastie Boys like do Sabotage at David Letterman.
nice.
That would have been
fun.
yeah,
Or go back. I'm even thinking now. God, Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison.
of course.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, I would do. That's me. Like I love Johnny.
We could,
I
there's
would
so
love to
many
see-
amazing
I know, right?
moments.
Her awesome outfits too. I feel
I
like
think,
inspo.
I think if they're gonna do anything with AI, my ask would be that they just make it simply that you can in the future we have the ability to just like be transported or like visual what is it called, like just
I
have the
wouldn't-
VR headset that like puts you
Oh,
at that
man.
concert and any of that, like you choose, you get to see them for what they were. Like that would be
That would be
Something
pretty.
else.
That would be pretty sick. Yeah.
I think that it's meant to be when it was, and that they
Right.
that's
should,
true too.
That's
like,
kinda
you
how
guys
it's
can
done.
create your own musical
Ah.
memory. and,
There you go.
Like
Have
just,
ideas.
you know what I mean? Like I think it's great. I agree with you. The music, the best part about the legacies of like the Tragically Hips and the Led Zeppelins and the, like I say Tragically Hip because I'm a huge hip fan, obviously, but Gordy being alive, they're never going to go and replace Gordy with anybody. Like they shouldn't.
Right.
I mean, if they
They
do, I'll be
never
very
should.
disappointed. Same as Led Zeppelin with John Bonham, and even though they did it with his son, which was amazing,
Mhm.
the way that they did it was so right because there's such an anticipation for that stuff. But I think that the key is to create your own musical memories, and I think we've been able to see some great bands in our life and
Yeah.
been part of moments that
Mhm.
probably were awesome. And yeah,
People will look back on, I'm sure, and be like,
yeah.
oh, back
Like,
then.
remember when we saw Soul Dive in San Diego and
Yeah,
they were
man.
getting an 85 Dolphin, man? That was dope.
Yeah, remember that?
Those are
Yeah,
days.
that
Oh
was
my
dope, man. Yeah, I think
It
that's such a good question because it does stir up a lot of emotions about music, and thoughts. So I love that. Where do you draw your inspiration for your lyrics? Does it just come from everyday life? Does it sort of out anywhere and everywhere?
Anywhere and everywhere. I usually find that I am pretty mindless when I mean, the only way I can describe singing or writing music is through when I talk about. Have you watched the movie Soul, like the kids' Disney movie?
Yeah,
Yeah,
recently
I just describe
actually.
it as that. So you
Running on the
you
Bob
have
Dylan
young
hippie
kids,
ship
so-
Yeah.
in the zone.
Yeah, like I just feel like I'm in the zone when so I used to like try so hard, like I need to write a song that's gonna sound like this, but then I recently started just writing music that just feels like it comes in a moment. It kind of comes more like in poetry and then turns into music, like poetry, like lyrics, and then it turns into a melody, and then yeah, I don't know. So I couldn't tell you where it comes from. Sometimes I think like it was just like kind of given to me. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even know where I came up with that. Like it just
Yeah.
certain moments, things come out and I write them down. And the coolest part I think is when Ken and I have written songs together, but the way Kev and I have written a few songs has been really interesting. Like he'll come to me with a riff he's written on guitar and kind of a feel for a song, and I'll have a poem that I've written. And specifically our one song, Funkin' on the Moon, that's the third song on our first EP we released. It came together that way in like a very short period of time, like maybe 20 minutes. I read the poem to him and he's like, I'm going to play it once and just try to sing to it. And basically, other than a few tweaks
Yeah,
at the
the
end of the
recording
song,
that you
the
sent.
first recording we ever recorded, the first time I ever sang those words,
You just
was
floated.
how the song is now. Like it just came together from something Kevin wrote and something I wrote, and we merged it together.
That's awesome.
And so I don't know, just certain moments align like that. And
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you about that song because I just I'm going to be I'm going to have a radio show in Kingston on
Cool.
Island Radio, and I just I recorded my first show, and that song is on it.
Boom.
Oh,
thank
I'm
you.
not kidding.
That's great.
Yeah, so I don't know when it's going to be playing in Kingston. I just sent it to them today. We're going to figure out a time. Hopefully, it'll be the same time slot every week. But yeah, I put you guys on.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a great tune. I love that song.
It's a great tune.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So so I did that. It's an indie show, so it's all local between here and Kingston and anywhere in between, and possibly up towards Pembroke and Montreal.
Oh, that's
Just so we can
awesome.
just so we can put our friends from Montreal in there and Hamilton, yeah, and
Ooh, The Damn Truth.
Damn Truth and
they're awesome.
Late Night Trouble and Vinyl Hero.
Speaking of like hippies, like people.
Oh, you love these guys.
Go back and if you watch our recent episode two ago, like that's The Damn Truth. She's got like these glasses that are double. Like she has a third eye in the middle of it, and it's like
like Prince's album.
They met. They're married now, but they met at a festival that was all naked. So they were both naked, walking around, and then the music. They had a guitar. They started singing and playing together, and they fell in love right there. Like, listen, these people are from Woodstock. Like, this is what happened. This, like, you guys obviously have that connection too. But like what I'm saying. Is their Woodstock.
They definitely, they just kind of were born in the wrong place.
Because Prince wore these glasses. Speaking of Prince again, we'll get back to you guys in a sec. But the glasses were like those, those round glasses with there's a Prince album with it. But he was the only one to be allowed with those glasses. And then when he died, the company contacted the lead singer from Damn Truth. Do you want to still buy some of these glasses? And she said, "Oh, absolutely." They bought shades that were only allowed for Prince at one point. Anyways, they're very interesting. They're very interesting.
That is cool.
Yeah. You'll have to check out that episode. It's very cool.
And check their music out because Keone, you're going to love it because they've got a real Led Zeppelin vibe to them. They've got a 60s vibe and they're amazing people. Like everybody we've met.
Montreal based.
Yeah, Montreal based.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
Rock band. Yeah. They were a lot of fun. But yeah, definitely. And I'm finding a lot now because we've got them. I mean, obviously you guys are very much like there's a 60s vibe going on with the clothing and the just like the whole mental thing you guys got going. And then there's the Sheepdogs who are also like 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
So it's making a resurgence and I couldn't be happier.
Did you book them? Are we going to interview
the Sheepdogs? Yeah, we haven't tried yet, but maybe we'll give them. Yeah. Set our sights high.
What do you think of the state of the music industry today and where do you think it's going to go?
It's a little scary. I personally, especially I think being inspired by a lot of 60s, 70s music, I really am not a fan of technology. And I love conversations and I love pieces of paper, writing my things down and just like disconnecting from the phone and being out in nature. But part of it now is like getting out there on TikTok and Instagram and all this technological stuff, which is fine, and we're working on it and we're doing well, but definitely as time goes on with like AI and everything too, I'm just wondering where we're gonna be. But I don't know if anything can replace the human connection with music. Like I don't know if AI is gonna be able to write the same because it doesn't feel the same. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why, going back to what you said about the resurgence, I think that's why some of those elements, not only with the, some of the genres that we explore, but just the idea of music being this authentic, the feel that you had back in those days where it was very experimental, very free in those senses. It's kind of what all of us are fighting against in some ways in the music industry through technology. I mean, I'm actually come from more of an IT background, so technology has been my
Kevin's been keeping us together. Very helpful.
But so I see the benefits to it. I love that in today's age, you can reach so many more fans and connect with them in ways that you hadn't before. So trying to kind of the way the pendulum goes, I think there is an element of wanting to swing back to the genuine nature of music being this experience, being this emotional moment that you can have with people in a venue. And then trying to balance how technology can be an aid to that rather than something threatening or a hindrance. So it's tough. I mean, I think for everybody, I mean, you guys have a lot of experience talking to bands and through yourselves and everybody you've come across with. So it's complex, but I think at the end of it, at the root of it, we all want the same thing. We all want what music is. And so unfortunately with the powers that be, though, it kind of puts the artist and cripples some of the abilities that you can have, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that also we miss the connection that we get when we're listening to music. This is a 2,000-year-old art of people always played music, listened to music, made music. talked about it. I think that people walking out saying Beethoven was sick tonight. Like
he was killing it, man.
But you know what I mean. Like I think that there's just been that love and that connection, and I find that even when I go to when we go to different concerts now, I tend to not take my phone out as mine. I make a focus of that because
We never watch those videos. Like, do we really ever watch back those videos?
And the people that record like the whole thing, like it just drives me bananas because you're not experiencing anything. Like you're just sort of. Anyways, I do take a photo. Yeah. I take a photo for sure. I definitely like you see. I saw Pearl Jam. I want to take a photo of Eddie. I saw. We went. Thank to you. Pearl Jam, we went and saw Eric Church, who was very I don't know if you guys are into country at all, and maybe a little bit, but Eric Church put on this amazing show and talked about like everybody just connecting and like we need to be together. Like this is sort of a thing.
Do you think
I actually no, that's Cambridge. I saw Eric Church in concert at Blues Fest once when I had a ticket, and I actually remember when he played the song Springsteen. Mm-hmm. I'm not a huge country fan, but I have my moments that certain songs are really beautiful. But this specific song, I remember like having, whether it was just the moment, the friends I was with, I don't know, but I remember having this like really connected musical feeling. And I sometimes when I'm at concerts, I think of that concert and was like that moment, something, even though it's not maybe what I would have thought would be like one of my favorite concerts, but that experience I felt during that song.
It's a great
song. Something pretty special. And so I always think of that.
Yeah, for me, it's Homeboy, which is on the same album, but Springsteen, it's about being in high school and like experiencing those moments and your first kiss or whatever it is that he talks about in that song, which is great. But he was very, very meticulous. And also we paid $25 to sit way up in the boonies and he brought us right down to the front. It was phenomenal. So that was a good experience too, right?
That's
so
awesome.
We like to think that's because we're celebrities, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was like because the Dawg and Gus show's here, bring them up,
bring them
all the way down. Yeah, that's what I said anyway. But
you sure did.
Yeah, I like to gloat.
You do. Okay, so now we're talking. Have you guys met a lot of local artists around the city?
Some.
The reason I'm asking,
been into the city as much as.
Yeah, this summer, I think just to be able to get our music recorded and put out there, we spent definitely a lot of time working on that here. And like the girls said, they worked part-time, this summer as well a lot. But downtown is something we definitely aspire to return to and connect more. We met a few bands through shows, right?
Yeah.
Cattail Creek Band and Josh
Longness
McFarlane.
Monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something I think you guys could tap us into more next time.
Yeah. The reason I ask is I went to City Folk Fest on Saturday for just one show. Just like out of the 5 days, I went to one show, and it was Almir Jules, who played outside. They had a little stage outside before you went in, and he played before anybody else started. And he's amazing. He's been on the show. He's a great musician, great singer, so good. And he's such an enjoyable person to talk to, and he's just a nice guy. But the one that blew me away was Alana Sterling. Now they are a local artist, and their show was, oh my God, it was just like the hair on my arms was standing up. It was just like so powerful and so emotional. I had to send her a text. I call her her, but I'm not supposed to. She's gender fluid. And it's they, them, but I keep forgetting because I'm old. And so, but they put on an amazing, amazing show. And it was just so like you guys would love Alana.
Definitely. I know that name. I think someone told me I would love them.
You said Alana
Sterling.
Sterling.
Yeah.
I'll definitely look them up.
They just put out a new album, and it's just incredible.
And Almir, you got to check out Almir.
You want
to hear soulful music? That's the dude. Yeah,
he does an amazing version.
Best dressed.
Yeah, best dressed that we've met. Well, that we've had on the podcast. Sorry, no, that's not true. You guys are awesome.
Have you seen us? We actually thought it was just a listening. I thought it was a listening podcast, and I was like, that's not. I know it's not. So it was a little bit last minute, or we would have been colored. Yeah. Usually we coordinate, like we do themes, but
What's the theme today?
Well,
they're disheveled.
I only did that because you told me that there's usually a theme and there isn't one. But I
just rolled out a bed theme. Here we are.
Our theme in the next few days is Harvest Moon because it's full moon tomorrow. So whatever the moon makes you feel, I guess.
There you go. You're gonna play some Neil Young tomorrow, then.
Right.
Yeah. We played Full Moon Fever
yesterday.
Yeah.
Harvest Moon.
Full Moon Fever, Tom Petty.
That's
Full
right.
Moon Fever, Tom Petty, Harvest Moon,
Yeah. Well, that's
Bark at the
Blue
Moon.
Moon.
I think Full Moon Fever is my favorite Tom Petty album.
Is that right?
Mm.
Funkin' on the Moon. That's a
Funkin'
good
on-
song.
Yeah, Walking on the Moon. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bark at the Moon, Ozzy Osbourne. We can go on.
Funkin' on the Moon.
Funkin' on the Moon was a great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great tune as well.
When you perform and say you had the experience of having it sung back to you, what energy do you think that would make you feel, and how would you think it would make you feel?
I dream of that. There's many times that I just like sing in my kitchen since I was a kid, and especially since I started writing my own music. Because I guess Ken hates when I tell this story, but once we hung out, and she
I
asked
was
what I
jealous.
wanted to be when I was older, and we were 10 maybe. We hadn't seen each other in a few years, and I said I want to be a singer, and she goes, "Everybody wants to be a singer."
Oh,
And look, we're in a band now together.
I was insecure at the
Anyways,
time.
everyone does want to be a singer, and
Here we
we're
are.
now singing together.
did
But-
you want to be a singer when you were young?
I wanted to be a dancer.
Did you?
I loved Michael Jackson
Yeah.
for when I was
Yeah.
young, and I used to
Both.
moonwalk.
Yeah.
And my sisters would make fun of me, but I was really good at it. So
Yeah.
I was like, in my head, I was really good at it. I don't know if I
You
was.
can still be a
Obviously,
dancer.
I'm still a sick dancer, but
Oh yeah, he's
you know,
got moves.
for a big guy. I can really make him happen.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to be an oceanographer
did you actually?
Yeah.
Well,
You wanted to be an oceanographer?
until I found out it involved
singer?
going into the water.
Oh, you had to go into the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Fair enough.
wanted to be a marine biologist.
There we go.
and
See
when I was a kid, and then I was like, boats in the middle of the.
what? No, I just thought it sounded cool. That's all.
Exactly.
It is true. Did you learn that word as a kid? And you were like,
I sure did. I
I'm going
word.
to be an oceanographer.
I just walked around saying oceanography, like
Yeah.
at 10 years old, right?
Yeah, then my mom was like, "What are you going to be, Jamie?" And I'll be like, "I'm going to be a dancer."
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Play
Yes.
Beat It Again.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ask this question on every show, so everybody gets an answer, and we appreciate you answering honestly and as comfortably as you can. There's 2 decades of music we talk about. The 70s are always a kind of everybody likes the 70s, but is it the 80s or the 90s as a decade of music for you guys?
80s. Yeah.
Between those two?
Yes, you have
So
no
I
other
was-
choices, just those two.
it's 90s for me.
What
Yeah.
makes you choose that?
Well, answer first. Don't take my.
Yeah,
Well, maybe that-
we'll ask why after.
Yep.
You're the deciding vote.
Oh yeah.
And we'll tell you whose heart you broke and whose you
Sometimes-
didn't.
Sometimes I miss era music, so this could be a faulty answer, but I'm gonna go with 80s. But it's not an easy. If it was between 70s and something, I would choose the 70s. But between 80s and 90s,
Yeah, that's
I'm a little more torn. So yeah,
Well,
I would
I
say-
prefaced it by saying,
That's
Yeah.
the
you know.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I'm just agreeing with that. That it's hard.
So
80s.
you've broken my heart, is that?
Woo!
Right?
Don't go
So-
breaking my
90s?
heart.
But you're 80s.
Anyways,
I'm 80s. He's in 90s. It's only because he's younger and I'm older. That's the
yeah,
only
but
reason.
they're younger than us.
I know, and they've got good taste, except for
Okay, so now, tell
Well, they got Trevor and James, so
I'm
Yeah.
just
True,
teasing.
true.
So what would make you choose the 80s?
I feel like, okay, same with she said, my eras, I know like 60s, 70s, but 90s, whenever I think of the 90s, I just don't know if I wasn't really raised on 90s music, I don't think at all. It was always either like the present music at the time in the 2000s that you'd like hear on the radio, or things that my dad was showing me. So I don't know if I've had a lot of 90s influence
Fair
to
enough.
listen to. Like, I really don't know if it was by choice or if it's just kind of like what I've been listening to. Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's not a strong answer
Grace?
either.
Thank you, James.
I don't know if I have any like specific factor that tipped me. I think I just chose because it was closer to the 70s, and so I'm like, I know the music that I like that crossed over from both. So I'm gonna let Kevin answer this question.
I didn't choose it.
Keone. I'm sorry.
Why the 90s, Keone?
The 90s, I think, just everything. I mean, especially coming from New York and hearing that influence from whether it was rap or some of the Beastie Boys and other things coming out of that time that stuck around. I would say New York, but then also
Like Nirvana or Soundgarden
and
or
everything
Alice in
coming from-
Chains?
everything coming from the Pacific Northwest. Like,
Yeah.
There was so much. It kind of felt like, and I don't know as much of the 80s, I would say, either. Maybe that was like
Fleetwood Mac was
one,
like
the one
80s
that my
though.
dad's
No.
kid
Like when-
used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were
But when-
70s, 80s.
When
Okay.
Nick's joined, that was more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles, the guys that you guys referenced.
I love the
Like,
Eagles.
it all
Yeah, why?
crossed over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
They
I
kind
think
of.
the beginning.
I think the 90s was became another time where it was like kind of experimental. I almost feel like it skips decades, like sometimes where it's like really
Yeah. So
it gets weird,
70s were awesome. The skip the 80s, and then the 90s were awesome.
80s were awesome too, but I'm saying experimental and just
Compared to-
different. Yeah,
I have 80. I like 80 stuff.
He does.
I love Joy
me
Division.
too.
I
Me
love-
He said Michael Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
for me, the 90s is when I just sort of like created.
Became a man.
Yeah, but also became my own person. I think
Yeah.
it was more
Well,
than-
that's just the thing too, right? Like for me, it was because I just entered. Well, 78 to 82 was when I started to listen to music other than what my parents played, because I was in high school, right? So it was kind of more like the heavy stuff, like I don't know, man. Like Zeppelin was being played. I wasn't really following them. I was more.
Did you ever, you know, they're a band, pretty good band, or
Yeah, I'd heard that they were a pretty good
they're
band.
pretty good?
Yeah, they're pretty okay, I guess. But I kind of followed like the 80s. Like I was into like, you know, like I was into like the like Styx and
Platinum Blonde.
no, wasn't a big fan. But Styx and Foreigner and like
Yeah, but
even
there's some great 80s band, like John, like your artists, like Bob
Yeah, yeah.
Dylan did some great stuff in the 80s.
Yeah.
John Hyatt, like
I know
Steve,
this.
you know, Steve Earle.
heard of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these are all
somebody's dad's a big fan of Steve Earle.
That's true. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
90s for me though, I was young and I'm still into the 90s hip hop. It was kind of the scene for me. I was down with the Beastie Boys and Biggie and Tupac and Nas, and our Tribe Called Quest is like my favorite. So yeah, there was all
Yeah, please go on. We have 5 minutes.
Tribe Called Quest is a great band. From,
Yes, they are.
From where?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Just throw that one in there for him.
They're
Yeah,
a group. They're a band.
I see what
It's
you're
like
doing here.
Beastie Boys played instruments. You know, they were excellent artists. Actually,
I have to confess, I didn't know that.
What?
I didn't know that the Beastie
Sabbath.
Boys played instruments until I was making a CD for one of our golf trips, and one of the guys asked for a couple of instrumentals, and I went, "The Beastie Boys do instrumentals?" I was just like, "What?"
Oh yeah, they're good.
And it was like, "Holy crap, this is awesome!"
You want to?
So yeah, I honestly didn't know because I really didn't know. So I was very much blown away, and thankfully so. It was amazing.
Very often I put on instrumental Beastie Boys to
Yeah.
chill for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever listened to just their instrumentals.
They're good.
We have a
There's
2-hour drive
if you
after
have,
this?
yeah.
All the way.
If you have a Spotify or whatever, like just look up Beastie Boy instrumentals playlist,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, there's some really
it's
good
like-
jams there.
There's a lot. There's actually a lot. So,
Great.
yeah,
And play it loud to piss off your dad. That's because that's what we're all about here.
He'd be totally.
I'm sure he would
I
love it.
love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun game.
When's your next show?
October 17th. We're playing Elgin, live on Elgin.
Yay!
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah,
He lives across
Oh.
the street.
I live down the street from there, dudes. Yeah, I'll be there. 17th,
Yeah, that would be awesome to see you.
Hi.
October
person.
17th.
October 17th.
That's
Writing
it.
it down.
That's a
Live on-
Thursday.
So, it's a school night. I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there, bud. You'll be there. Listen, we love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. We look forward to following
having
along, and this is going to air tonight, so we're going to put it up right away. And-
Awesome.
yeah. So
Sweet.
yeah, well, but check out the Damn Truth for sure. Like, listen to that.
We're
They're
in touch for all the bands that you guys.
yeah. There's some cool. We've been lucky enough to speak some amazing people, and you're on.
And it
that.
continues.
You're obviously on
Yeah.
that list. So
Yeah,
thank
it
you
continues for sure.
again. And Grace, I'll probably see you at the coffee shop.
Yep, you will. I'll be there until November until we head south.
Oh yeah, that'd be sick. You guys are already like snowbirds, but you're not. They're like just
I
they're
was
free.
like,
They're
what?
free
Maybe
birds.
they're
Free birds. Oh my god, you referenced that.
Free birds.
Yeah.
Can't believe you did that.
Well, you know,
I can believe it. I can believe it.
J'aime la fromage.
Oh yes, you definitely like your fromage.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Have a great
Thank
trip.
you. Thanks for having
Have
us.
a beautiful
Yeah,
night.
just stick with us for a minute, and we'll.
Dawg and Gus, Dawg and Gus, Dawg and Gus.